In case you've been living under a rock, or you took quarantine to the next level and went completely off the grid, housing values have gone up a lot in the last year. Now, low inventory is mostly to blame, but I'm betting you've heard that by now. But let's take a look at what's causing the housing shortage. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Nate. I'm a licensed mortgage loan officer. If you're new to the channel, I've been making a lot of videos in the past few years over mortgages, personal credit, personal finance, and buying homes. You know, all that boring stuff that they should have taught us in school, but they didn't. Good thing I know Y equals MX plus B though. Psych! Anyways, there's a ton of bad information out there and a ton of shady practices. So I'm here to try to make those things less complicated and set the record straight. If you're into that, consider subscribing. If you're not, I don't know what you're doing here. Bruh. All right, let's back up for a little bit. Let's get back to the basics. To give you an idea of just how bad the housing shortage is, according to the National Association of Realtors, in order to have a balanced market, meaning it's not really a buyer's market, not really a seller's market, you have to have 6 months worth of inventory. What's that mean? Simply put, if you have 6 months of inventory, that means that it should take about 6 months for the buyers to buy up all those homes. So that's a healthy, balanced market. However, what's going on right now is a lot of markets in the United States have less than a month's worth of supply. So you've got a ton of folks buying up these homes and driving up the prices because everybody's trying to buy the same houses. It's simple supply and demand. So we've established that there's a shortage, but what's causing this shortage? Here are 5 factors that are leading to the housing shortage. Low interest rates. Now, cheap money is good. What's the problem? Lower rates equals higher buying power. Plus, everybody hears these low rates and creates a sense of urgency. You know, like when you FOMO'd into GameStop. Some people normally may not be in the market to buy a home, but are doing so because they don't want to miss out on the low interest rates. And it's for pretty good reason. Let me show you how powerful these low interest rates are. Let's say you were to borrow $350,000 at 3.25%. The principal and interest would be about $1,523 a month. Now let's say you bought that same house and you borrowed $280,000 because the property value was lower, but you had to borrow at 5.25%. You'd be paying about $1,546 a month, or $23 higher. So even though you're saving 70 grand on the purchase price, you're still paying more for the house overall. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that folks were getting interest rates in the low 5s. So low rates equals more buyers. Second reason is COVID. I mean, at this point, can't we just blame COVID for anything? Now, don't get me wrong, there was an inventory issue brewing before COVID, but the pandemic in several ways threw gas on the fire. I could do a whole video on this later, and I probably will. Third reason, boomers and millennials, the rivalry that goes back decades. This is one factor that a lot of folks don't talk about. So a lot of boomers are staying in their home, or they are selling their home and downsizing. Now, when they choose to downsize, they're usually going after entry-level homes or smaller homes that a lot of the millennials want to buy. Currently, millennials make up more than 1/3 of the home buying population. They're moving out of apartments, out of rentals, they're not living with family anymore. So there's this huge tug of war between two big generations. The problem for millennials is that a lot of boomers are either selling their property, and since they have so much equity, they're able to pay cash. I'm guessing their houses are worth so much because of the furry toilet seat covers. Regardless, their homes are going for big bucks, and they can then in turn pay cash for properties that millennials are trying to finance. And I don't think I have to tell you that cash is king. Number 4, people aren't selling because they're scared that they won't be able to find something to buy, which is completely reasonable. I mean, who wants to sell when you're not really sure where you're going to land next? So if you're a possible seller and you're in this scenario, ask about what's called a rent back. I did a short video on rent backs earlier, so make sure to check that out. All right, last factor, and this is probably the most important one in my eyes, and this could affect us for the next few years. Number 5, not enough homes in the last decade were built in the United States. When you compare 2010 to 2019, we built almost half the amount of houses that we did in the previous decade. And in that same time frame, the adult population swelled from 235 million to 255 million. So according to the census numbers, we increased the adult population by 20 million, but we built half the amount of houses. Hope this clears some stuff up for y'all. I'll be posting a lot more long form and short form videos here. Also, if you just can't get enough of this thrilling content, check me out on Instagram and TikTok.